Hi everyone, so my name is Dr. Jean O'Dwyer and I'm one of the organisers of this year's Environ 2021 event, which is taking place online between the 16th and 18th of June. So this year Environ is hosted by the Environmental Research Institute in University College Cork, and our theme is Healthy Planet, Healthy Communities. So if you're thinking of submitting an abstract to the event, and maybe you've never submitted an abstract before, or maybe you're uncertain as to what constitutes a good abstract, this is just a quick help guide to help you ensure that you're submitting what will be a successful abstract. So this year, as it is an online event, when you register for Environ on the Environmental Science Association of Ireland website, you'll be prompted to submit your abstract via Xordo, which is our conferencing platform system that we have gone with this year. So when you log into Xordo, you'll be asked to include information about your research abstract. And one of the first things you'll be asked to include is your abstract title. The abstract title is very important as it tells the reader what the actual abstract itself will contain and will generally govern whether they want to read it or not. So your abstract title can be the project title, or it can be a research question, or perhaps it can be a key research finding. That's really up to you and what best suits your research. But importantly, the abstract title should make it clear what the thematic area of the research is. So for example, if you've submitted under the water resources theme, the title of your abstract should be reflective of that. You'll also be asked to put in your first and last name and your email address and the first and last name and email address of your co-authors. And you'll be able to add your affiliation and your secondary affiliation if necessary. After that, then there'll be a text box where you actually submit your actual abstract, and this will have a word limit. So this year for Environ 2021, the word limit is 400 words, which may not seem like a lot, but it's actually ample to get your key research points across. So what I've done here is I've just pulled up one of my own abstracts and I've colour coded it to showcase different sections of an abstract, which I think improve the readability and make the abstract a little bit more accessible to a reader. So all research abstracts should be like a story. So you want the reader to get information from your abstract in a fairly nice and clear manner. So from a reader's perspective, they will want to know, why have you done this? How have you done it? What did you find and why does that matter? So this is the approach I've taken for this abstract here. So you'll see at the start here in the green and the light blue, this is what I would consider the introduction, so setting the context for the research. In green here, I have started in a global context and highlighted what I perceive to be a global gap in research. In blue then, I have then brought it down to a national context where I'm letting the reader know that while this is a global issue, for the purpose of this study, we are focusing on the Republic of Ireland, wherever it is you're focusing your research on. Following this then, once you've provided a little bit of insight as to why you're doing this kind of research, you then need to explicitly state the aim of this specific research project. Okay, so you can include the aim, perhaps you want to talk about objectives or a research hypothesis, but just so that's very clear in one sentence as to what you are actually doing or what you set out to do. Okay, so accordingly, the current study sought to quantify or whatever it is you set out to do. Within this section, you should also make some sort of reference to the methodological approach that was undertaken, because as we all know, the methods that we choose when we're doing research is extremely important, and so far that it's reproducible and all those different things. So the next section here, which is marked in yellow, and you'll see it's the largest section, is the results section. So at this stage, we provided context, we have said explicitly what we aim to do, and now we're going to say what we found. So within the abstract of a research abstract for a conference, you can feel free to include quantitative information. Okay, you want to include some of your key findings and your results. It is not the place to put everything. Okay, so all your research results won't fit into a research abstract. So you need to go through and ask yourself, what is the key message here? What are the take-home findings that if nobody ever got to read anything else, I'd be happy that they at least knew that. Okay, that's what you want to include in your abstract. And whether you go on to do an oral or a poster presentation, you will have a further opportunity then to provide more detail and more data. So within this section here, I have blended a bit of methodology and results, and importantly, I have provided some sort of insight as to why I think that these results have occurred. Okay, so this isn't a discussion of a paper. There's no need to reference scientific literature or anything like that, but you can provide a very general scientific overview of what you think is happening and why these results are what they are. This will draw the reader in and get them thinking about potential explanations and make them want to go and engage with you for your poster or for your oral presentation. So following that then, we have this last section here that I have in purple, and this is a really important part of a research abstract from my perspective anyway, and it's something that's often omitted from research abstracts. So once we've gone through everything, the results, we now want to bring it back into a wider context again and explain why this matters. So does your research drive policy or legislation? Is it patentable? Does it involve technology? Is it going to spark further research? These are all outputs from research projects that are extremely important and place them in a wider context. So you should round off your research abstract by just saying explicitly what you think this research can be used for or where you see it's going. So if you follow this kind of stepwise approach where you start quite broad and you bring it down to perhaps a national or a local perspective, you have a very distinct research aim, you have told the reader how you did something, and you have provided key results and a small explanation as to what these might mean, and then explicitly told the reader why this is important. That is a successful abstract, and as I said before, it will encourage people to want to engage with you at your talk or poster presentation. So this year, within the Exordo programme, we've also added a section where you can provide a biography from the presenting researcher. So you'll be prompted to denote somebody as the corresponding author and the presenting researcher, and then you can provide a biography for that speaker. So within this biography, which is just a very short blurb, you just can provide information as to perhaps what career stage you're at, where you're working, a little bit of information about your research area, and all of this then will prompt other colleagues and peers to engage with you and find potentially common grounds of interests or share research ideas. Okay, so the goal of this is to encourage a little bit of networking. As I said already, you'll also be prompted to choose a research theme, and you'll also be asked to choose a secondary and third research theme as well, just in case that we get some that are overprescribed. But where possible, we will do our very best to match people to the theme that they have chosen. Okay, so that's submitting an abstract to Environ in a nutshell. I wish you the very best of luck with it, and we're very looking forward to welcome you all to our online event in June. So take care.